And
And we need volunteers to help
there we go.
pledging
Okay.
new and renewing members. If you have a few hours you can spend with us, you'll be helping to keep jazz and blues on the air. To volunteer, email us at volunteer@jazz88.org. We hope to see you for the drive, November 14th to the 22nd. Again, email us at volunteer@jazz88.org. And thank you.
You're listening to the New Jazz Thing. My name is Vince Outlaw. San Diego State University anthropology professor Seth Mallios and lecturer Jamie Lennox release a 5-volume anthology covering 5 decades of live music at SDSU. It's called Let It Rock. It's being released at an event coming up this Thursday, the 29th of October, on the San Diego State University campus. And joining us to chat about the jazzier side of Let It Rock are Seth Mallios and Jamie Lennox. Welcome to the New Jazz Thing.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get you a little closer.
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we hear everything here. Okay, there we go. Thanks, Jamie and Seth. Thanks for being here tonight. So, a new book, 5 volumes. That's a lot. Seth, tell us a little bit about how you got to 5 volumes of music about San Diego State University.
One of the funniest things was when we started this project, we knew of a couple of legendary shows. And in peeling back those layers to try and get more details on just a few shows, we started seeing this huge quantity of shows. And it's not just rock and roll. We definitely have more rock shows than any other genre. But at the same time, what we saw was this very regular change over time, and we even have a graph that shows from jazz to rock, folk, and through all these different genres. And that's where this project became so fun. Yes, the books got huge. I remember first telling the publisher, not 1 book, but 5 books, and I had a big smile on my face,
Right.
and no one else was smiling. But that's where we got to pull in what was going on socially in San Diego and the nation at large. That's what made this book so fun, was to see how music is that vehicle for identity, politics, race, you name it.
Right. So, talking through that, then, it seemed like some of the earliest shows at State were folk music, and then, but in the book, as you're talking through the '60s, but there was an earlier segment to that that includes jazz, and I have some music from Chico Hamilton pulled also. But Jamie, tell us a little bit about the pre-1960 part of music at State.
Oh, sure. Well, the first shows at State were for pep rallies and dances, and it wasn't necessarily about a concert, but actually the first time that we have record of something even being referred to as a concert, a standalone event, was a jazz concert with the local jazzman, Frobel Brigham. And from there, the students got a taste of it. They wanted more and more live music that was just a concert. And in 1957, they were able to get Chico Hamilton on campus, which was a really big deal because the students were lamenting that they never got live quality performers, and this was the first time that they were able to get somebody on campus to perform for them, and they couldn't have been happier.
And so where on campus would this performance have been? Seth?
Well, it's funny because what was at the time called the Greek Bowl, today's open air theater, was the center of campus. And for these huge concerts, Chico Hamilton, and also when there was a big jazz fling led by Andre Previn.
Mm-hmm.
It was there in this center of campus. And one of my favorite headlines from that first Frobel Brigham show, the Daily Aztec, the school newspaper, says, they're talking about the Greek Bowl, and the quote is, "Bowl blasted by blaring Brigham bebop bash bunch."
Nice. Excellent. So definitely making an impression there at State. Well, let's check out a little music. And did we have the date when Chico Hamilton played San Diego State?
Yes. January 13th, 1957.
Okay, let's check out some music. I think we have something here from 1962 in Chico's quintet, Transfusion, the Disc, and Witchcraft. Here we're going to be chatting some more about getting into the 60s and further after this on the New Jazz Thing, San Diego's Jazz 88.3.
Thank you. My posture's not
I
that
think
great.
that's good to be
Thank
done.
you very much.
Sorry.
I like how we both go like this. It's a radio.
San Diego's Jazz 88.3 and music there from Chico Hamilton, 1962. Chico, the drummer, with George Bohannon on trombone. George Bohannon just still active here in Southern California. Jazz just saw him up at the Idlewild Jazz Festival this year with Albert Stinson on bass and Gabor Szabo on guitar. And we're chatting with Jamie Lennox and Seth Mallios of San Diego State University about their new book, Let It Rock, which includes a lot of jazz, including a preface to 1960 about some of the music there, including Chico Hamilton. And then Gabor Szabo also was an artist who played San Diego State. Welcome back, and some of the tell us just some of the other artists who have played the jazz artists who have played San Diego State.
It's such an extensive list, and it really depends on how you define jazz. But we have Ella Fitzgerald in '61. We have the Modern Jazz Quartet, which people hailed as one of the finest shows ever. The quality of the musicianship is something that was emphasized. Then we have a string of artists in the late '60s that are pretty amazing. Dionne Warwick, Sammy Davis Jr., Ray Charles, Tim Weisberg, Tim Buckley. And then when Roberta Flack plays in the early 1970s, the campus erupts in racial turmoil because of the reviewers. A white Daily Aztec reporter expresses some very controversial views about not only the artist, but more importantly, the crowd, critiques the crowd. And it's, you can just see musical expression and student identity just exploding in terms of the turmoil. A lot of times people like to say, because San Diego is conservative, they say, you know, the late 60s came to San Diego State. It just wasn't in the late 60s. It was in the early 70s when it showed up, and we definitely see that musically. And then in the 70s, and this is something that Jamie can speak to as well, with nightly backdoor shows, the amount of high-quality jazz acts at the back door through the mid to late 70s is just amazing.
Yeah. So 2 points. I totally agree with that. Because I, as someone who wasn't really into jazz that much, but then got affiliated with this station with people who really know jazz, they told me about the days back in the day when they went to the back door and they saw Rassan, or they saw others that were just amazing. And that was a big part of their education, and it was showing respect to what went down at San Diego State, at a place like the Back Door and at other places too. You mentioned the Roberta Flack thing. That reminded me of something that also seemed important to you, was the way Ella Fitzgerald addressed her appearance here in 1961, I guess. And I'd like you to tell us a little about that. But I think that the bigger thing is that that's important to you about this music, is the impact that it has on changing the student body or the school, right? Because you're coming at it from that standpoint.
It's a very good point, and Jamie and I are anthropologists, and so what we try and do is make connections between all those different aspects of culture. Yes, these 5 volumes have over 3,000 shows, over 5,500 band appearances. And so sometimes we get lost in the details of the chronology, and it's really important for us to step back and say, all right, what does it all mean? And that's where that Ella Fitzgerald concert in 1961, this is a time where San Diego is highly segregated, known derisively as the Selma of the West or the Mississippi of the West. And when she comes here in '61, 3 years before the Civil Rights Act of '64 is passed, she has a rider in her contract that says if she sees any segregation at all, in food services, in the bathrooms, drinking fountains, you name it, that she will not perform, and she will keep the $2,500 deposit in her contract. And this blew us away for a couple of reasons. One, that she is commanding that high of a price. That right around this time, Bob Dylan's making $1,500 for a concert. She's making $5,000. She was the undisputed.
She's the queen.
She's the queen.
She's the queen. So.
And then secondly, to use that power so wisely in such a socially conscious manner in San Diego, where at the same time San Diego is hosting these events to undo anti-discriminatory legislation in California. San Diego was this conservative hotbed, and she comes in and really sets the tone for these very important and powerful African American performers throughout the 60s, who both put on amazing musical shows and encourage their audience to push the envelope on civil rights.
Right, move forward however you could do it. I have a little bit of Ella pulled, and we can play some of that. But we need to talk about the event that's coming up and give people that at least a couple of times. So you're releasing the book, the 5 volumes of Let It Rock, this coming Thursday. Jamie, you want to tell us about the event?
Oh, sure. It'll be at the 3rd floor of the Love Library on San Diego State University's campus. It will feature the unveiling of the backdoor mural, which is a crucial piece of history that we're very excited to share with the alumni and current students. We will have a musical performance by local musical legend Jack Temchin, and we'll be releasing the hardcover and ebook versions of the book.
So people will be able to get their hands on 5 volumes if they want on Thursday.
Yes.
And that's at on the San Diego State campus. Parking?
There is free parking and parking structure 4 up on the top levels, and this event is free and open to the public, and it's this celebration of art and music and culture, and it's something we've worked on this for about 5 years. And when we talk about how important the back door is, how great the back door is, this mural is all we have left from the back door. We were able to peel it off the wall, this 14 by 9 foot mural. We were able to conserve it, but that's all we have, that little sliver of history from so many really important musical years.
Excellent. Well, I have a question to ask about some of the things that are saved in this whole thing, not just the words and the printed, but the audio and video too. So let's hear a little bit of music from one of the artists that made a big splash here in San Diego and kind of showed us all a little bit. The queen of jazz, Ella Fitzgerald, from All That Jazz. This is My Last Affair on the New Jazz Thing, San Diego's Jazz 88.3.
Love and romance have done to me. I'm not the same as I used to be.
Okay.
This is my last affair. Tragedy just seems to be the end of me.
Yeah, he texted me
My
that.
happiness is misery. This is my last affair.
The data that they gave me, that's to work on.
Right from the start, you took my love, tore my heart apart. Now
Oh yeah, she got like she emailed John Thomas. Everything that she was talking about was a John Thomas issue, not us.
my dreams won't come true, so I'll make a vow. No more to love's shrine will I bow. I cross my heart and I'll seal it now. This is my last affair.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not that chatty of a host. San Diego's Jazz 88.3 and the New Jazz Thing. And that's music from Ella Fitzgerald. Ella, Let It Swing here in San Diego at San Diego State in 1961. From the disc All That Jazz, That Was My Last Affair, we're chatting with Jamie Lennox and Seth Mallios of San Diego State University, and they're releasing Let It Rock this Thursday, October 29th, a 5-volume anthology covering 5 decades of live music and even more, as we've already found out tonight. Welcome back to the New Jazz Thing.
Thank you.
Great to have you. Let's look through here. So there was one of the fun parts of the book was some of the lists that you have at the beginning, and it was great. There was a San Diego State's Hot 100, and Ella was at the top of that. So tell us what that Hot 100 is.
It was so hard to determine the best show. Everybody, when you put together something that's so long, everybody immediately wants you to summarize it. And so we'd been asked, what are the top shows? And
It went from 10 to 100 very quickly.
Oh, I would imagine.
and when you say top shows, is it because the show itself was so good? That musical performance, was it where that artist was at that time in their career? Was it the fact that that group broke up right after that? That was your last chance to see him. And so we tried to mix in these shows that had such a huge impact societally with things that were just fun as well. Sometimes I have this problem where I move away from the fact that this is music, it's people listening to it and having a great time. And one of my favorite shows that sort of serves as the antidote to that is when Charlie Mingus plays the back door. The famed angry man of jazz comes to town. He shows up a few days late because he was filming in Italy for a Bernardo Bertolucci film. So he's jet lagged, he's already grumpy, and he shows up and people are blown away that his musicianship, again, is so perfect. His tone is so perfect. And that his tone is so direct. So he tells the audience, and this is my favorite quote in the whole book. He says, listen here, this is the middle of the set. We've come to play for you. I don't want to hear any chit-chat during the set. And I especially don't want to hear ice cubes rattling in your glasses.
Wow.
and then moves into just this perfect rendition of CGM Blues. And I love that because these are those anecdotes that only when you're there could you see something like that. And you know that moment where you realize you're that physically close to someone you adore, and you realize that if you shake the ice in your glass, you have completely infuriated them.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's sort of that fun that tied into that list. There were times where we took the easy way out in what was the largest crowd ever at State.
Right,
but then there were other times where we were very bold and said, you know what? It was because of what went down in that tiny, tiny club venue with no furniture, 250 people sitting on the floor.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing, and those kind of memories there's going to be so many people in San Diego who have had so many of those memories, and I think as you allude to, there's probably a lot of people that wish they had the memories and say they have the memories too, that they were there at that. It's like being at Woodstock. Let's remind folks one more time about the event coming up Thursday.
Yeah, so it's 3:30 to 5 on Thursday, 3rd floor of Love Library. Free parking on the top levels of parking structure 4. We're going to unveil the backdoor mural, this 1976 Chicano art that is absolutely fantastic. On the one hand, it's very reverential. It has Aztec warriors in all this historically accurate gear. And on the other hand, they're rocking out on stage. And it's very brash. And we love that juxtaposition. Jack Tempchin's going to be playing live music. He wrote the Eagles hit song Already Gone in the kitchen of the back door. He's going to tell the story about that and play it. And then Jamie and I were going to release these 5-volume sets. And there's also the ebook that's far cheaper and fully searchable. Oh,
it was amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for giving me it to preview. It was really good. It was very easy to use and great search. I looked for jazz and found everything I was looking for and a whole lot more. So where can folks pick that up and win also online?
So this Thursday is the first chance to get it in person. And then after Thursday, through the SDSU bookstore and at shopaztecs.com, they have a website for it. And we are so thrilled with this. This is something hundreds of people helped us out with memorabilia. We probably talked to thousands of people when you pull in all the different quotes we've had. And what we got to see was this this union of the art community, of the music community, of the San Diego State community, of jazz, of rock and folk, and it was so fun to see all those blend together and to see a lot of those traditional lines get erased. You know, to see the rock and roll people claim Ella Fitzgerald. You know, it's really funny to see how easy classifications just melted away.
Yeah, people, it's a common thing. They were all there listening to music, whatever era, whatever time, and it's very connecting. Well, Jamie Lennox and Seth Mallios, congratulations on the new book.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And good luck with the event this today, and as you open up sales of this, hope you do really well. Hope to have you back and talking about jazz in San Diego a whole lot more.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks so much.
Right there is Let It Rock, the 5-volume anthology covering 5 decades of live music at SDSU. Our guests, San Diego State University anthropology professor Seth Mallios and lecturer Jamie Lennox. From Les McCann, an artist who played at San Diego State in the era covered, is coming back to San Diego, and he's playing here at our jazz happy hour the first week of November. You can find out about that at jazz88.org. From Les McCann Limited in New York, this is Oatmeal on the New Jazz Thing, San Diego's Jazz 88.3. There we go.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
It was fun.